Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and I hope that this video finds you well. Corruption. Corruption within our federal government is a huge problem. Russia. Then the laptop from hell. It was real. Kash Patel, our new FBI director, and President Donald John Trump have launched a massive operation to find everybody involved in the Russia collusion hoax, everyone involved with lying on Biden's behalf about the laptop from hell. Some people were stripped of their security clearances and fired this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is massive. We're getting right into it. Do me a huge favor. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from? We're getting right into it. Here, let me adjust the mic. There we go. First thing I'm going to show you is this right here. Kash Patel's FBI suspends deep state operative Brian Otten, analyst who pushed the Trump-Russia hoax, discredited Hunter Biden's scandal, and was behind the Mar-a-Lago raid. But ladies and gentlemen, there are two sides of the story. First, we're going to cover this, and then Rudy Giuliani came out today and actually exposed something that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi did. They hired somebody to be the head of the FBI headquarters in D.C., and that person was in charge of going after the January 6ers. But we're about to get into that. Let's cover this first. After years of stonewalling, spin, and subversion of truth, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, under the leadership of Director Kash Patel, has finally placed a deep state operative, Brian Otten, on administrative leave. Sources familiar with the matter told the New York Times that Otten was placed on administrative leave last week. Otten's suspension comes after years of public outcry over his corrupt misconduct inside the Bureau, which turned the FBI into an arm of the Democrat Party. He was a key player in Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI's scandalous counterintelligence investigation based on the now discredited Steele dossier. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, Donald Trump actually declassified Crossfire Hurricane so that we can all read it. And I'm very, very excited for it to become public, to look through it, because from what we just learned, and I reported on this also 3 days ago, the Mar-a-Lago raid was not because Trump took documents. The Mar-a-Lago raid was to find any remaining copies of Crossfire Hurricane that the government did not have, because they do not want you and I knowing what's in those documents and what they did. Yeah. Lisa Prince, thank you so much. God bless you. Let's continue. According to the DOJ Inspector General, Otten failed to alert FBI's leadership about gaping holes and fabrications in the dossier, yet still aggressively pushed for an illegal FISA warrants on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Let's be clear. This was the FBI spying on a presidential campaign based on false evidence, and Brian Otten was in the thick of it. But Otten didn't stop at attacking Trump. In 2020, just weeks before the election, whistleblowers alleged that Otten authorized an internal FBI report that falsely labeled damning information about Hunter Biden as, quote, Russian disinformation. That report effectively shut down the FBI's investigation into the Biden family's foreign business dealings, conveniently just in time to protect Joe Biden's presidential campaign. Otten's fingerprints were reportedly all over both cases, despite being under internal investigation for misconduct related to the FISA abuse during the Russia probe. Instead of being removed or disciplined, he was allowed to continue shaping politically explosive investigations under the dirty FBI Director Chris Wray. And finally, Otten's fingerprints are also on the FBI's unprecedented raid on President Trump's home, another blatant abuse of power targeting the Biden administration's chief political opponent. Right there, we see that he also was there. He has his arms and hands all over the raid at Mar-a-Lago. Why? Because Crossfire Hurricane reveals the truth to us. It reveals that Obama, Biden, Hillary Clinton, they spied on Trump. They tried to set him up. They fabricated the Russia collusion story, and they lied. So that is what they fear. As of today, that dude is out of the FBI, and he's under criminal investigation by the FBI. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that when Donald Trump was president the first time around, we were millimeters away from seeing a sitting president be arrested by his own DOJ and FBI in the Oval Office? Watch this.
And abusing. I'm worried about anyone getting back in. Remember, Trump was almost jailed during the Trump administration. So it's not a question of the partisan president or the partisan nature of the president or the party of the president. It's a question of, are these agencies subject to the rule of law? There's no evidence the FBI thinks it's subject to the rule of law, and the DOJ was an absolute threat and defends everything. What people don't understand, the Justice Department defends everything lawless in the government, in the federal government. That's their job. Anytime you have a complaint about what the government does, you can always count the DOJ to be there to defend it.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor. Smash that thumbs up right now. So what this person, what Tom Fitton just told us, is he said, it doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter whether it's Biden, whether it's Obama, whether it's Donald Trump. The FBI and the DOJ are rogue wings of our government who believe they answer to nobody and they can do whatever they want. Donald Trump's first presidency was a success, yes, to a degree. When it comes to the economy, to the border, to world peace, greatly, very successful presidency. But when it comes to draining the swamp, I'm sorry, his vice president backstabbed him. And I'm not saying Trump, doesn't know what he's going against. He understands, but the corruption is deep. And what this person is saying, you can put Kash Patel as director. You can put Pam Bondi in there. You can have Donald Trump as president of the United States. Corruption is very, very, very thick. It goes far. Now, I'm going to play this last video of Rudy. Wait, I have two more videos to play for you. This one is of Rudy Giuliani actually talking about a huge mistake that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi did.
And I'm very upset now because Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have taken one of the people that was running the unit, going after Catholics in the Justice Department, and also going after J6 people, and put him in charge of the Washington office of the FBI. And I tried to reach him today. They didn't call me back. I want to know why. They say there's an explanation for it. It better be damn good.
So tell us, do you think Kash and Pam are doing the job that
I do. I up until now, I was over the top enthusiastic, particularly about the Justice Department. Wow. Justice Department did a great job. So I'm going to assume there's a reason for this that I don't know. And I'm very upset now because Kash Patel and Pam Bondi
listen to this again.
Have taken one of the people that was running the unit, going after Catholics in the Justice Department, and also going after J6 people, and put him in charge of the Washington office of the FBI.
Now, who is that person? Who is the person that Kash Patel put in charge of the Washington, D.C. FBI office? Stephen Jensen. So this guy, the guy's name is Stephen Jensen, and Kash Patel put him in charge of the DC field office. Why? That guy targeted pro-lifers, Catholics, Christians, January 6ers, right? He worked for the Biden administration to target conservatives. What is it? An accident? Is it an honest mistake? I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, before I give my closing remarks, this is another video I want to show you. This is a Chinese national sending us American citizens a message about the tariffs. And I agree with him. Listen.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it.
Here.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China, not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crashed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare costs, cheap dopamine, debt, and flag wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs fit your lies. Well, they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
Now, I agree with him about the fact that they sold our jobs. They sold us out and told us to be proud. We got our revolution and it was on November 5th. Trump is doing it. But everybody before Trump, he explained them perfectly. This Chinese, man told us exactly, you're blaming us, but your government shipped those jobs to us. You're oligarchs. He's like, you have oligarchs and we have oligarchs. After I saw this video, ladies and gentlemen, I went on Google and I started looking at China 20 years ago and China today. China has some of the best roads in the world, some of the best airports in the world, some of the cleanest and biggest and most advanced cities in the world. Why? Because our politicians, our oligarchs, sold our future, sold our infrastructure, sold our economy, sold our children's wealth to China. It's not China's fault. Imagine you run a small business and somebody who has a business just like yours, but comes to you from another state and says, I'll give you 60% of my business, run it for me, and give me a percentage. And I say, why? He says, because taxes are cheaper in your state. Would you say no? I would say yes. Give me your business. I'll run half of your business and give you 10%. And that's exactly what American oligarchs did. They sold us out. But he is right. We need a revolution, and our revolution is happening right now. Donald Trump is our revolution. We need tariffs. I stand with tariffs. I stand with tariffs, and I believe every industry, every company that has ever left America just to exploit cheap labor in Bangladesh, Taiwan, Pakistan, China, they have to come back or tariff the crap out of them. On top of that, China, we remember what you did with COVID. You released COVID just to make sure the 2020 election goes the way it did. On this show, we proudly say Trump won the 2020 election. It was rigged from him. It wasn't an honest election. because people sat at home and millions of ballots went out the door, hundreds of millions. And China is responsible for 2020. That means China is responsible down the chain for the Afghanistan withdrawal, for the 13 dead Marines, for the Russia-Ukraine war, for the open border. We remember these tariffs are a way to get back. Ladies and gentlemen, so what kind of the video today was this? Trump and Kash Patel are launching, as you all know, they have launched a lot of investigations into who was involved in January 6th, who was involved in the Russiagate, the fake Russia collusion, who was involved in the Mar-a-Lago raid. And Kash Patel is now what he did with the person, right? With the guy, what was his name? James something, fired him. And that's a good thing that he fired him. But he's also under criminal investigation. Steven Jensen. I mean, no, not Steven Jensen. The guy we were just, what was his name? Brian. Steven Jensen's the other dude. Brian. So Brian, the guy who was behind the Russia collusion, who lied about the laptop, who lied about everything else, he's fired. He's done, and he's under criminal investigation. But the deep state is much deeper. They are wider and more powerful than we understand right now. But thank God for Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump. We will drain the swamp. We will get our country back. And we will make sure that our children live in a better society than we. And then our grandchildren. And on top of that, we're going to raise our children to leave an even better country for their children. And our children are going to teach our grandchildren to do the same. It is no longer do we depend on the government to do better for us. We now understand the government plays a real small role in bettering us. Because if we let them better our society and country, they will ruin it. That is why we all need to buckle up. We need to teach our children how to make our countries better. You be respectful. You cherish your country. You honor your country. And I'm saying this as an immigrant. I came here when I was 6, but I love this country. This is my home. This is my home. There's no better country in the world for me than this one. And we are getting it back. There is a revolution in this country, except no shots fired. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Have a great day. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon.